Hey peeps! Welcome back to my channel. No one says peeps anymore. I am probably the least coolest person on YouTube. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do a video on things I thought when I was pregnant or before I was pregnant. Like the ideas of how I would mother, give birth, yeah, compared to the reality of it. I, like everyone else, probably had so many ideas and opinions on parenting. I still cannot say that word. Parenting and being a mum, and it's probably completely different to what you initially thought. So today's video is going to be my take on that. I hope that makes sense. I have 10 things that I'm going to discuss. So 10 things that I thought before or during my pregnancy, and then I will give you the reality whether it happened or not. So let me begin. First off though, let me just say sorry about the hair itch. We have skipped hair wash day and I feel like my throat is kind of a bit funny, so my voice might go a bit. So sorry. So number one is I said that I was going to breastfeed because you get told that that's the most natural thing to do. It's cheaper to breastfeed. You don't need to worry about buying milk formula. But yeah, I always said that I was going to breastfeed my child, but I always did say if I couldn't, I wouldn't be upset. So my reality is I tried to breastfeed, but I couldn't. There was several aspects as to why I couldn't breastfeed, but the main one was that if you look back on my videos, and I will link it below, that in my labour video I explained that I was very ill and I lost 8.3 litres of blood, which then prevented my milk coming in. Another reason why I struggled with the breastfeeding is because Arlen was tongue-tied. So he did eventually get his tongue snipped, and I don't know whether that didn't help with the milk coming in or not, but he wasn't feeding properly and it resulted in me being in a lot of pain, and without going into too much detail, basically it was hanging off. It was not pleasant. I struggled with the breastfeeding, so we did end up going on formula. Whilst we were in hospital, he was severely dehydrated because we weren't getting enough milk, and he had to get on a strict diet where he was getting fed a bottle every 2 hours, plus myself topping him up. So, well, no, he fed for me and then the bottle topped him up, but he wasn't really getting it from me, so yeah. Number two is I said I wouldn't co-sleep. So I used to say that I didn't agree with the cribs that attach to the bed, the Chicos and whatever other brand you get, because I felt that you were kind of making a rod for your own back. Your baby's going to be used to being so close to you. You're going to feel like they do sleep in with you, and when it comes to them going in their own cot, they're not going to want to go in. That's what I said. Reality is I got given a Moses basket crib thing. When it came, I started freaking out that it was so small and you wouldn't be in it for long, and it was tiny and it was quite low down and it couldn't get too close to the bed, and I started freaking out. So that was it. Went out and bought a Chico, and he was in it for a year, although it's only recommended for up to 9 months, I think it is. He was loving it and I loved having him near me, and I felt so guilty when I put him in his cot for his first night, but he was great, slept right through. I ended up buying a baby monitor because I didn't like the thought of not being able to see him, so now I can see him if I get a bit sad, which I still do, and he's now nearly 17 months. So yeah. Number two is I said I wouldn't co-sleep. The reality is I kinda did. Number three is a bit of a touchy subject probably for a lot of people. I used to have 3 cats and they were my loves. I absolutely adored my cats. They were good cats, never really did anything wrong apart from maybe the odd claw at the carpet or sofa, but it was never that bad. And when I got pregnant, I got asked on several occasions, oh, are you going to get rid of your cat? And I would be furious. I would snap back saying, why would I get rid of my cats? So number three is I said I would never rehome my cats. Reality is, the day I got home from hospital, after being in hospital for a week, I burst into tears the second I walked through that door. I had extreme anxiety. The thought of the cats coming near me or my son made me feel physically sick. I started having a panic attack. I cried for about 2 hours until I fell asleep, and then when I woke up I cried some more. I was scared to put my son down on the sofa in case he got cat hair on him. I just was freaking out, and that is something that never went away. I was hoping it would, but unfortunately it didn't. I don't know if it's to do with my illness that I had or the fact that I've actually now been diagnosed with really severe anxiety, a little bit of PTSD, but I don't know what it is. But in January our cats got rehomed. Luckily we managed to keep them all together and they went to a friend's sister's home, and it was just for the best, and I just feel so much freer, a lot more comfortable that Arlen's not gonna get ill, or as he's got older and he's running about, it was impossible to keep him away from them and their cat litter boxes and their food, and you can only keep things so clean, I guess, when you've got animals. I don't know, but yeah, so the reality is I actually did have to rehome my cats. I discovered there's actually so many people who I didn't expect it from who did rehome their animals when they had kids, and it's quite comforting to know that I'm not the only one. I know they've gone to a good home and they're being looked after and they're getting the attention that they needed that I unfortunately wasn't able to give them due to whatever's going on with me. But I do feel a lot happier with this. I can't remember what number I'm on now. I think it's 4. Number 4 is, I said I would put him to nursery at least one day a week whilst I was on maternity leave. Reality is, I didn't. I no way was going to be doing that because we were planning our wedding and nurseries are pretty expensive, especially around where we are. Also, I'll tie it in with number 5. I said I wasn't going to be one of those mums who would never leave their kid. I was one of those mums who didn't leave their kid. So number 5 is, I said I would leave my child, but the reality is I didn't. I hated leaving Arlen, even for an appointment I had at the hospital where he couldn't come in the room. I hated it. I felt like people would be looking down at me thinking I was a bad mum. Probably again my anxiety again, and I'm sure a lot of mums go through that. You know, I'm kind of getting over it a wee bit, so I can appreciate when he does go for a nap and I get time to sit myself or film a video, and my mum keeps him through the day whilst I'm at work, and I've maybe said to her, look mum, can you maybe just keep him for an extra hour so I can just have time to just chill when I get home if I've had maybe a busy week or a busy day. So it's quite good. I'm starting to try and take time for myself, but it is really, really hard because I just miss him so much. Number 6 is about my pregnancy, and I said that I would prefer not to have pain relief. I would be able to get through it and I've got a good pain threshold. So the reality is I didn't get pain relief, however I had no choice in the matter. What the moral of the story is, when it comes to delivery, do not plan because you plan to fail. Is that the right saying? I don't know. You can never plan your birth, and some people are so fortunate that their birth, their delivery story is straightforward, or they can have epidurals and it's a lot more comfortable for them. People can just chill out before they start pushing. Unfortunately for me, again, like I said, if you watch my labour and delivery story, then you'll see that my delivery was extremely quick, an hour and 35 minutes, and a lot of people probably would think that was a good thing because it's over and done with, but it's really not, because in labour, obviously, you know, you get your contractions where they're 5 minutes apart and they just build up and build up and build up, but you get the relief in between. I didn't have that. I just went from 0 to 100 in a very short space of time. My husband nearly missed the birth, and it was just an all over traumatic thing. So in future, if I am fortunate enough to have another child, and even more fortunate to have a natural delivery, then I will take gas in air, because they did offer me it whilst I was in trying to get the forceps in, but I kept saying no because I thought I would be sick, because obviously that's so much worse than feeling forceps going in. In future, yeah, I will take the pain relief if I have time. I think I might have to have a section because I'm now classed as high risk for delivery, so I think I might have to have a section, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Number 7 is I thought that I would end up with postnatal depression. I don't know why I thought this, but I just thought I would. I mean, I've suffered from anxiety for forever really, I guess, and when I was 19 I was diagnosed with chronic anxiety, so you can only imagine how bad it is if it's called chronic anxiety, but it has since got worse. So the reality is that I don't think it is technically postnatal depression, but I have been told that I have symptoms of PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. Before I was told I had this, I always thought that was just people who've been at war got these things, and that is my reality, that I've had little panic attacks over the most stupid things. I used to freak out about the thought of eating cereal of all things. I don't know why, it was just my mind, and yeah, it was bad. Sometimes, like, if I heard a toy that was from when Arlen was first born, it would make my heart stop and I felt sick and I would just cry for no reason. So expectations was that I thought I was going to get postnatal depression, and reality is that I've got postnatal anxiety and I have got symptoms of PTSD. But I have been seeing a psychologist since December 2016 and she has honestly been amazing, and both me and my partner go together and she really helps me kind of understand how I'm feeling. And yeah, I recommend that if anyone is suffering, you please go and try and talk to someone. And if you don't get support through your doctor, then there is lots of channels and forums that you can talk to people online, and you can always message me and I will help you the best I can. Number 8 is I said that I would make sure I take my child to all these classes. I would take them swimming and play groups and all the things that you see people going to. In reality, I for one couldn't, because of I was damaged goods, shall we say. And number 2, it is super expensive to do all these activities. I don't know how all these mums do something every day of the week. I don't understand really, to be honest, and I don't know how you do it when you've got more than one kid doing activities every single day of the week. You must have to win the lottery or something, I don't know. When he was about 4 months, I took him to Music Bugs, which is just a class where you sing songs and you get a bit of sensory play at the end. It was quite good for me to get out the house on my own, to chat to other mums. I do want to start taking him to something, but it's just so hard to have a set schedule. So we have started going to a play gym in Kelvin Hall, which is just a free play, and you pay per session, so there's no need to worry about, oh, if I can't make this week I'm going to lose out on money. So it's quite good. It's good for him to be around other children and not just his little old mum. So expectations was that I would take him to all these classes, and reality is that I was far too ill for the first 3 months to take him anywhere, and also it is so expensive. If you are pregnant, start saving for these things now. Number 9 is that when my son was born and I started thinking about feeding, I said that I wanted to do baby-led weaning. When you don't give them the purees, you just skip to finger foods, so you'd give them like sticks of sweet potato or bits of toast, but you have to wait till they're 6 months old. So that's what I had in my head that I was going to do. I didn't give him any food until he was, it was less than a week till he was 6 months old. Tried him on porridge and he took the first couple of mouthfuls and he was loving it, but then he hated it. So I gave him some carrot, didn't like it, and I just started introducing other vegetables and he just wasn't having it. So I started feeling stressed, and then I decided to give him pureed food. Kind of was a waste of time trying to do that, and I waited all that time, but he very quickly was able to then have a mix. So he had some purees, we got the Ella's Kitchen and stuff, so he did have some purees, but he would also eat the finger food. So expectations is I wanted to do it, reality is I started having a panic thinking that he was going to choke, and I ended up getting purees anyway. So don't put too much pressure on yourself when it comes to feeding. Just go with what your baby wants. That's the best tip I can give you. Number 10 is that I said I was going to have my babies really close together. When I first had Arlen, I said that I would want to be pregnant by the time he was 1. I loved being pregnant, it was the best feeling in the world, and to have this little person at the end of it, and you're just filled with so much love, and I would love to give him a brother or a sister for him to have some company and to just share the love, really. So yeah, I've always just wanted to have kids close together. Reality is that I, as I've said, had some problems, and unfortunately getting pregnant was not top of the list. Getting better was. So unfortunately we are not expecting yet, and we have been deciding whether I should go ahead with the surgery that I need before having another baby or have the surgery after we're finished having children. And we have made a decision, so we will see where we go with that. But yeah, expectations was that by the time he was 1 I would already be pregnant. Reality is that he is now 17 months and we are not trying for a baby. And to be honest, I was quite upset about that at first, but now he's a bit older and there's been days where I've been exhausted with him, where he's not been sleeping because he's been teething, and the thought of being pregnant exhausted plus just general exhausted was just honestly like a wake-up call for me. And I thought, thank goodness I was not pregnant when I was going through that, because it was so hard. I could barely stay awake. Also, it's been really good just having time with my boy, me and him and his dad, and having that bond, and knowing that when we do eventually have a child, he will be a wee bit older and be able to help me, and hopefully have a little bit more of an understanding that he's got a sibling, and hopefully he won't be too jealous. So yeah, expectations was I thought I would be pregnant by now. Reality is I'm not, and I'm kind of okay with it, kinda. So I hope you liked my video. It's just a little light-hearted chat because I feel like I've not done a sit-down video for a while. I probably have, but it just feels like it's been a while. If you liked it, then please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep up to date with my latest video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Oh, I need some tea.